Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records. And we're talking about Bob Dylan today. Just announced yesterday, Bob is going to continue his Rough and Rowdy Ways tour. You know, he's really been touring nonstop since the 80s, really since the late 70s. He started calling his tour in 89, the Never Ending Tour. That's when I saw him first in July of 89 at the Muni Amphitheater in St. Louis, and I've seen him 15 times or so all the way through 2010. You know, he's a 10-time Grammy winner. He's won the Pulitzer Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize. He's 82 years old. He's 83 years old, I think, because he was born in, maybe he's 82. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Bob Dylan is a legend. He's had so many great albums. And, you know, I haven't seen him since 2010, and one of my buddies, Derek, was mentioned yesterday, do I go see Dylan? Is he going to play this same set each night? Is he going to play unrecognizable arrangements where, yes, he's playing one of his classics, but you can't recognize it because the structure's so different? Yeah, he's going to do that. He is going to play different shows each night. I've seen him on 3-night runs where every show is completely different. I'm thinking I might go see Dylan again. Let's talk about his voice. Let's talk what happened to his voice. Some people will say, well, he never had a good voice. Well, I think he did. He certainly was a great lyricist. And his first 7 albums are untouchable. Bob Dylan, debut in 62. Free Willin', Bob Dylan in 63. The times are changing in 64. Another side of Bob Dylan in 64. Bringing It All Back Home, which was one of my favorites in 65. Again in 65, Highway 61 revisited. And then Blonde on Blonde in 66. So that's kind of a period there. Those first 6, so classic. John Wesley Harding comes out in 67. This is around the time when he's doing the basement tapes up in Woodstock, New York, with the band, and it's a different album. His voice is still pretty much the same. He does all along the Watchtower there, of course, made famous more by Hendrix. For his 8th album, he does Nashville Skyline. He adopts this voice, this country crooning, soft country crooning voice. Think of Girl from North Country. Think of Lay Lady Lay, Lay Lady Lay. It's a completely different voice than his. So he's intentionally gone and done this other voice. Okay, he's done a different voice. For his next album, Self Portrait, which has lots of covers on it, and by the way, he quit smoking during Nashville Skyline. I don't think that quitting smoking makes your voice sound like the Lay Lady Lay voice, but he did temporarily quit smoking at that point. Self Portrait comes out in 1970. It's got Early Morning Rain cover, but he did a cover of Gordon Lightfoot there. He does The Boxer by Paul Simon. He still has that voice, that country voice. There's one occasion on that album where he goes back to his real voice, if you will. And then fully returns to the real voice in 1970 on his second album of 1970, because that's back when people would do 2 albums in a year. For New Morning, If Not For You, the great song that he wrote with George Harrison. He does the Isle of Wight. He hadn't toured since 66. He does the Isle of Wight in 1970. In 1974, with the help of his backing band, The Band, he does a great album called Planet Waves. Listen to the song Tough Mama or On a Night Like This. They go out and do a big tour in 74. Comes back with his classic album, recorded in 74, released in 75, Blood on the Tracks. Idiot Wins, Simple Twist of Fate, You're a Big Girl Now, and Tangled Up in Blue. Is this not the height of his voice? He's 34 years old or 33 years old at this point. He then records Desire, which is recorded in 75 and released in 76. But from October of 75 and May of 76, he goes out on the Rolling Thunder review tour, where he's showing up in a bus filled with people like Joan Baez, Roger McGuinn, Joni Mitchell, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, Mick Ronson on guitar, and they're just barnstorming the United States for, 7 months, taking drugs, doing amphetamines, snorting coke, drinking, smoking everything you can smoke. And I think that this is a turning point in the voice. Even from Blood on the Tracks to Desire, there's a little bit of a change. But then he does a live album after that. Then there's a definite change in his voice for 1978 Street Legal. 75's release of Blood on the Tracks to 78 Street Legal. Certainly Desire to Street Legal in 2 years. There's a massive change. He's no longer using his chest to project out his voice. He's blowing everything out, pushing it through his nose almost. Listen to this, the great song, Changing of the Guards from Street Legal. I still love his voice, but it's changing. Listen to Precious Angel from the follow-up album, Slow Train Coming. He's starting into his gospel years. Listen to the song, Precious Angel. It's so good. Does a series of gospel albums from Slow Train Coming to Saved in 1980 to Shot of Love in 81. Listen to the song Every Grain of Sand. Ooh. And he's playing that, by the way. His last tour date of 23, he closed with Every Grain of Sand. And I've seen him do that too, only on one occasion in 2004 on that same 3-night run that I did, which I should do a whole show on the 3-night run. I took 3 different people and I scared 3 different people on those 3 nights because I was 30, 31, and I was having a lot of fun. So his voice is completely different by the 80s, right? He's got that nasally, think of the We Are the World, There's a choice we're making, we're changing our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. It's comical at this point. He's almost putting that voice on. And I was told that Stevie Wonder asked him to sound more like Bob Dylan, and that's why he hammed that up. So he's then, again, using his voice, where he can be like Bob Dylan, right? Does a tour in 86 with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Does a huge tour, that's a big, long tour. Does a month of July in 87 with the Grateful Dead. Comes out with Oh Mercy in 89. He's back to the full-chested voice, but his vocal cords have been ravaged by the time he's approaching 50 by 89. But here's something that's interesting. The Time Out of Mind album that comes out in 97. There's a song called Can't Wait on that album. That's great. But there's also a box set that came out called Telltale Signs. And there's a demo, different version of Can't Wait. Listen to those two. So Time Out of Mind, the actual album from 97, listen to Can't Wait, and then go to the box set on Spotify or whatever and listen to Can't Wait on the Telltale Signs. Totally remarkably different voice. I would argue a better voice on the box set. By the 2000s, he has a croaking style voice. Probably my favorite Dylan album, certainly since Blood on the Tracks, is Love and Theft. Summer Days, summer nights are gone. Po' Boy, Moonlight, just beautiful. Hoagie Carmichael-esque 30s crooning. It's beautiful. 2006's Modern Times, Rolling Thunder, or Rolling and Tumbling, Thunder on the Mountain. These songs are great. Move into the 2010s. Again, I saw him last with my daughter Zoe and my father-in-law Joe, and my brother-in-law Patrick Murphy, and it was great. But what are we seeing? We're seeing a guy that can't sing very well. We're singing a guy that's arranging songs, but you know what? We're still seeing Bob Dylan, a master of what he does, and he has control of the show from start to finish. He's written all these songs, and yes, I'm going to go see Bob Dylan again. I missed him last year. It's a mistake. Don't pass up on legends that there'll never be another Bob Dylan. Anyway, that's my show. Subscribe to my channel. go check out Bob Dylan this spring. Starts in Florida in March. I think he's doing 2 shows in Memphis. I may have to go down there to see you guys in Memphis. And yes, it will be a crazy night on Beale Street at the Orpheum. 2 nights. Bob Dylan. Peace out. See ya.